Love Them Knives channel. You just tuned in to LTK doing a CJRB. How many initials is that? That's a bunch of initials. Right here, we have the 1907 Rampart. That's what this is named, the Rampart. Interesting knife. Comes in different colors. This is kind of a bluish gray G10. Very grippy. Very grippy. These are liner locks. There's your lockup, about 35% on there. Liners looks pretty substantial here, and they're not embedded like they are on some of the CJRB models. This one being the Gobi embedded liners. This one, not. Okay, so different. Has a little bit maybe more rugged feel to it. Definitely probably adds some weight in that regard, but not a whole lot. Deep carry pocket clip, right or left hand. Does have a lanyard hole. You can do that. Hardware. It's got a little pivot surround there. No back spacer. Okay. Stonewash liners. Stonewash blade. And nice drop, centered. No blade play, no lock rock, nothing going on there. And sometimes nothing is a good thing. Another nothing is no jimping on the flipper tab. It's set way forward. Pretty intuitive though. Snaps open nicely. Has this choil here. So you could actually go forward on that and use that. And let's see if the knife will be a knife. Okay, so this one comes pretty sharp right out of the box. It has a good factory edge. And of course, like I said, stonewashed. Obviously not the piercing king, but it could do some slicing. Here's your contact patch here. Not bad for a flipper. Not bad. Doesn't look like a hollow grind. Looks like a flat grind to me. Not a lot going on. Kind of a machined look to the pivot there with that little gold surround. I believe that little gold surround's probably aluminum. I know the way they did it on the Gobi, it is aluminum and the backspacer's aluminum. So keep that in mind. But it gives it a little pop, doesn't it? Especially since this is kind of a subdued gunmetal blue or, you know, grayish blue type thing. That's interesting. And the pocket clip, this one here doesn't have quite the clearance. This is about a 70 thousandths clearance here between the tops of those heads of the screw and the pocket clip. The Gobi was more like a 90 thousandths. Odd because they look like the exact same pocket clip. So, but you know, the tops of the screws, I think probably my biggest bitch, and with the understanding these are budget knives. Okay, so these are going to be well under $50. Part of Artisan Cutlery, CJRB is. So this is their budget line, and so you can't ask for the world, but you know, if you flatten those screw heads out and made them flush, it'd give you more room to go over the lip of your pocket. And, you know, you can go over the lip here, but once you push up and then you get those screws, that will interfere. And so it could present an issue. Right or left hand, tip up, carry. Not a huge knife, but not that small. So kick it right here. You know, 3.5 inch blade, 90 millimeters, 8 1/4 overall, 21 centimeters. Yeah, 0.52 of an inch at 13.2 millimeters for the width of the handle, and 3.1 millimeters, probably 1/8 inch. Yeah, 0.123, 124, you know, 1/8 inch thick blade stock. So not overly thick blade stock, but pretty substantial in that regard. Obviously, it's a flipper. It's on bearings. The Gobi I took apart, it had ceramic bearings. I'm not going to assume that with everything, but it's centered. It feels fairly light in the hand. Let's close it up and check one thing as we do that. How did we use the available space? It's really hard to judge that with a knife with a blade shape like this, isn't it? I mean, normally I would say you got to leave room for the lanyard to come through here. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Could they have given it just a little bit more? But I think I'm okay with it. It doesn't look disproportionate. So we're good there. Let's put it on the scale. 4 ounces basically. 114 grams. So that's pretty much the way it is with, oh, by the way, let me throw these others in. You know, the Gobi, the agave, and the feldspar. I'd say the Gobi and the feldspar are probably my favorite designs. The agave is interesting, and the Rampart is too. So these are 4 that are really interesting designs, but I'd say the Gobi and the feldspar. This looks so much like a Mallory design, but it's not a Mallory design. It's interesting in that regard. So you have to get the Centros, which is another CJRB if you want the Mallory design from Dylan Mallory. But there you go. Nice. It's open. Should be easy to clean. They haven't skeletonized the scales, although it's 4 ounces, so if they would have augured them out, it might have helped. It might have knocked it down below 4 a little bit. Here's my little, 1907, right? Cool knife, but pretty much a full-size carry, right? Because it's the exact same size as the Paramilitary 2. When you get right down to it, you put a tape to it, it's the same size. So it's a full-size knife with a 3.5-inch blade. We will disassemble it, take a look inside, check those bearings out, and go forward with that. How's it feel in the hand? This is not a real tall handle, okay? Like, if you want to look at the feldspar, this is a different, taller handle, kind of gives you, and with the contouring, see, this is not contoured. Some of the models are contoured, some are not. Like the feldspar, that's contoured. Like the Gobi, that's contoured. This is not. This is flat. The agave, contoured. You can tell. So this is flat, but it's reasonable ergos. That's pretty reasonable. I got all my fingers on here. They're comfortable, and you're not forcing anybody's fingers to be in a certain position by having the grip kind of thing going on there. So no, it's just a flat area, so your fingers can kind of settle in and find their own comfort. Yes, I can feel this pocket clip, but it's deep carry. It is what deep carry does. I mean, I like their pocket clip setup though. They're not overly stiff, but maybe a little bit more of a gap, or going flat with the heads of those screws would be really nice. And I've seen a lot of pocket clips where they have flat head screws there. And so they're flush and they give you more of a gap. When you're going to go deep carry, that's important. Because if you're not going deep carry, then it doesn't matter, right? They're not in the way. Okay? But if you are going deep carry, yeah, then that can be an issue. Let's see where our balance point is. Well, it's right there. Okay? And pass through, real easy to get to. So that's not a problem. Gets over the detent ball pretty quick. See, like that? Drops pretty good. Pretty good action. Got a fidget factor in there. Detent. Yeah, it flips open. It's appropriate and everything. I'd probably give it about a 4.5. I can flick it open this way. I can flip it open this way. So when it's like that, you know, it's not a 5. You could say it's a 4. Give it that. Now you can stop the blade from rolling around like that. But I'm just saying, it opens pretty well, pretty lazy flip, and it kicks right open. I think it's appropriate detent because it's smooth, it's good, it operates quick. But yeah, I mean, when the detent will let go doing that, which obviously gives you another opening method, correct? But when it does that, then it's more like a 4 and not like a 5. If it's something like the Gobi, I cannot get it to come out this way. Okay, it will not come out this way, and it's extremely difficult otherwise. So, I mean, this is not coming out easy here. Okay, you have to really snap it hard to get it to come. So this is more like a 5, 5.2, something like that. The design flows okay right here into the ball, so there's no cutaway. You're not seeing the end of the blade here, and it comes down through here. This line continues, so that's good. Yeah, I think it's a, you know, the design is what the design is meant to be. So this is something you will like or you will not like. Well, let's take it apart, see what's inside. And this is the presentation side. And that seems to be the appropriate side. When I did the Gobi, it was a D-shaped pivot, so really you can only pull it from one side, even though you have access to a Torx on both sides. If this is a D-shaped pivot, this isn't going to turn regardless. And we got number 6s out here, okay? So you got number 8 on the pivot, number 6s on the body screws. And what do we got? Are we still holding on? Nope, we're off. Okay. So these are here. We could separate the liner from the scale. Here's the scale. Let's take a look. We've got D-shaped pivot, as I had guessed, and ceramic bearings. Right here. Right here. There's your pivot surround on one side. There's your actual pivot, D-shaped one piece. And of course, standoffs, which are still held on by these 2 screws. So I'm not separating this piece here, but you can see internal track for your stop, which is right here on the blade. So the internal track runs on both sides, as you can see. And ceramic detent ball. Stone washed liners. Cleans up all the edges really nicely that way. All right. Ready to reassemble. You can see the D shape in the liner here lines up with this pivot that obviously we took the screw out of the presentation side. So this pivot's coming back to the lock bar side, and there it goes. And yes, that stays positioned. We can throw bearings on here. We can put just a little bit of, trying to keep it to a minimum here, lube. And we're We're putting our blade on. Of course, you know, we've got our stop rolling in this track in here. Push that down because we're pushing our lock bar out by doing this a little bit, but that'll work fine. And another set of bearings. And just a little bit of lube. Here's the other side of our liner, which we want to place right here. Get it all crunched down together. Okay, we're good. Now we have our G10 scale, outer scale. And of course those screws are still in there. I never took them out of this, but they could just fall out. I mean, they're unscrewed. But they're there, right there. And then of course we got our little pivot surround. And we have our pivot screw. And we better lock something down here before I run out of fingers to hold it together. That helps. Now let's do some number 6 work here. And that's good. That's cinched. We're good there. So we didn't have any real problems here taking it apart, putting it together. It's pretty simple. Are we centered? Yeah, we're centered. Let's see if we got any blade play. Nope. I got it tightened just right. Oh, great action, yeah. The 1907 Rampart. And yeah, that's nice. Got a good fidget factor to it. If these are the kinds of designs that you're interested in, obviously the price is right. Check it out. I'll give you a link below, and seem to be a good quality knife for the price, and interesting designs as well. Let me bring in a couple of my others here. The Gobi, which is really nice. The Agave, which is interesting as well. And of course the Feldspar, which is not a flipper, but wow. Yeah, there's a couple in here. Definitely. I really like, these are my 2 favorites so far, but they're all interesting designs. Take care, my friends. I'm going to let you go. We love them knives, so you guys stay sharp.